All right. Hello. It's 11 on Monday, and I'm so excited to be here. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about that I'm talking about today, and I can't wait to share some of my knowledge with you. If you don't know me, my name is Anastasia Arauz, and I am a family life coach, a family therapist, and my background includes school counseling, a private practice. I was a teacher. So my whole life has been revolved around families and children. And I want to be able to pass some of that knowledge on to you and your family so you guys can have what I have, that calm, less chaotic, and it's not always like that. But we use a lot of strategies to keep it that way in our house. So thank you so much for joining me. And as always, if you have questions or anything you want to ask me, you can always send me a DM or put your comments below. But I'm here. I'm always available, and I will respond to you through the chat or the DM. So let me know. All right, so let's get started. So today's topic is about play, right? And hold on, let me get it up for us. And what kids can learn through play. And so if you don't know me, I am a registered play therapist. And so what that is, it's a therapist that does extensive training on, hold on, let me stop sharing for just a minute. That does extensive training on working with children from the ages of 3 to, like whatever, like 17, 18. But mostly I feel like the play therapy, especially the non-directive play therapy, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, works really well with kids 3 to about 9 or 8, depending on their development as they get older. And what that means is basically is the kids are able to play, and through the play, you're able to see what's happening in their life, and they're able to express themselves, express what's going on through the play. So in essence, if there's been like a divorce or a death or any type of trauma, through that play and through a person like me, or even I can teach you parts of it, kids can work through the trauma so much faster than we can because it's not sitting in their bodies, right? It's not sitting there. It is expressed through the play, and someone that's a trained therapist is able to guide them through that. And so they don't hold on to that pain and that feeling till they're like 30. And then they're in a therapist's office trying to figure out why their life isn't going the way it should go. And that was me, right? So I didn't have what I can do. It wasn't as popular back then. It was very new. So lucky that we have this tool now that we can share with parents and kids. And so over the years, I have worked with kids extensively doing this type of play and teaching them. And as they get older, the non-directive play turns more to a directive style, which then I can do more cognitive-based stuff and teach them about their bodies, teach them why things are happening, why they feel the way they do. And through that, we do art. We can do some drawing, writing. There's so many things that go on to the play therapy. But in this presentation today, I really want to talk about what you can do in your home to help your kids be able to play in a way that is very healthy for them, right? Sorry, so I'm going to share it again. Here we go. Okay. All right, so what children learn through play and what you need to know. All right, here we go. So toys are children's words and play is their language. Gary Landreth, if you've never heard of him, is one of the founders of play therapy. He is from Texas, North Texas, and he actually has a center there that trains therapists on how to work with children in a therapeutic setting. You can find some of his videos online in YouTube. And so anybody can watch them. And there's actual ones on there of him working with kids in the playroom. So you can watch him. I've met him. He's this very nice, soft-spoken man. He has this amazing energy, and he's definitely using his God's purpose, right? He's definitely here to pass on what God gave to him so we can all work to help children. Amazing, amazing person. I have the utmost respect, and he is one of my idols, I guess, because of how much he has taught the world about children and play. So this is one of my favorite quotes because it's so true. All right, so free play in the brain. And the reason I put free play is because when kids are in free play, they're not being directed, right? And so if you've watched any of my other stuff, I love the brain. It's our computer. It keeps us going. It's what processes all the information. It's what processes trauma, happy events, sad events. So really important that we know about the brain. I wish we knew more about it. I wish we learned more about it in school. And I think people would understand why things happen, right? So if you look at the picture, you can see the pink, the green, the turquoise, the orange. And if you remember me talking about the brainstem, which is the orange, that's when we, if we're in that part of our brain, that's when you're in that fight or flight constantly, right? And so if you're in a chaotic home, if you have a lot going on, anything crazy, even at like holidays, it can be like this. A lot of times kids will get this back of the brain, this part back here becomes their working brain. And then that's when you see tantrums and you see outbursts and you see behavior issues. So really we want to keep our kids in that green part of the brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. And that's the cognitive part. That's the part where you can reason and you can understand what's happening. This is when you can talk to your kids and be like, all right, so listen, this is what's happening. This is why you're in trouble. And they're able to understand and hear you. When they're back in that orange part in that brainstem, that's the time when they're screaming and yelling at you and you're like trying to tell them what to do and they're not hearing you. They cannot, they're just in that flight or fight. They're in survival. Their brain is telling them you're going to die, you're going to die. And so not cognitively, obviously, but that's what's happening in the brain, right? So that's firing, firing, firing. So you really have to wait till they get in that green part of the brain for them to hear you. So play. The reason play is so important, you can read here, it says the prefrontal cortex will become bigger and faster. That's where the brain regulates emotions, makes plans, and solves problems. So if your kid's brain is faster, bigger, stronger, they're going to have a harder time getting into this back part, right? And so the play really helps it. Not saying they won't get into that back part of the brain, that brown, that orange part, but it'll just make it hopefully quicker, easier for them to get back to the green. So that green part of the brain, it controls cognitive functions like learning. It helps with dopamine, like providing dopamine, influencing attention. So if you think about a kid sitting in school, they will pay attention, right? If they've had this free play and have been able to have this expression through their childhood. It helps with impulses. It helps with memory and also cognitive flexibility to where it's like, an example would be, they want to go swimming, but you have to go to the grocery store. And you're like, you really can't swim right now. But they're like, no, I want to swim, right? The flexibility, right? That cognitive, they're able to kind of be like, okay, I can swim later. Yeah, sure. You can swim when we get back. That would be great. And so they're able to more reason with you. So that is the green part of the brain, and that free play helps develop it and to make it stronger. All right. So moving on. So there's two types of play. There's pretend play and then there's structured play. Pretend play is great and it helps with self-regulation, right? Whenever you have a child that is in the pretend play, okay, it creates a different energy for them and who they're playing with, or even if they're playing individually. So say they're playing with another child, and you've probably seen kids do this. And after you watch this, if you have little kids, watch them play, listen to what they're saying, because you're going to hear what I'm talking about. When they do the pretend play, they create a set of rules, right? So say they're playing in the kitchen, right? They're going to create rules. All right, we're making dinner. Let's make pizza. How does it work? What are we going to do first? What's going to happen? We're going to put cheese on the pizza. You'll see. So they're going to create rules. And then if they're playing with somebody else, I want you to be the person in the restaurant and I'll be the cook who's going to make it. And so they're creating this rules in their head through the pretend play on their own. You're not teaching it to them. They're learning how to do that organically through the play. They're going to start with the reasoning skills. What if the pizza burns? Oh no, the pizza burned. We're going to have to start over again. Oh, what if we don't have any more cheese? Or what if we don't have any pepperoni? So that's all within them, right? And they're doing that themselves through the play. And it also helps teach explaining things, right? Language skills. So if they're playing with another child, or even by themselves, you'll hear them talking. They're going to be saying like, okay, I need you to sit at the table so I can serve you your food. And then once you sit down, and then you'll see them set the table, they'll explain to you what's happening. So pretend play is amazing for kids in their development. Okay, so then you have structured play. Now this is great too, right? So this is whenever you might play a board game with your child, or they're playing soccer, or they're in gymnastics. It's very structured. And this is great because this is new ideas and opportunities that maybe they didn't create in their head. So this improves social skills because when you're playing a game or you're in a class, you're working with other people, other kids, peers, teachers. You also learn how to follow directions with structured play. I'm sure you played games with your kids and you have to explain the directions to them. And when they're little, at first they don't understand. They don't like the winning and losing. They don't like that there are the rules, that they have to wait their turn. So structured play helps with that. It also enhances listening. So when you have structured play, they have to be paying attention to what's going on, or they miss the whole gist of the activity. And then it helps with self-esteem because there's so many chances for feeling proud or feeling good, or even not proud and not good, but then that's a chance for you to have a conversation. So that helps their self-esteem and feel good about themselves. Okay, so those are the two types, the structured and then the unstructured or the free play. Okay, all right. Which is better? I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, well, neither one is better. It's all about balance. You need a little bit of both. It helps with physical, social, emotional development all the way around. So just balancing it in your home, in the community, they need both. And so I guess that brings us to being present with your children to figure out what they're needing in the moment and making the time for it. We try to do games here now. So as kids get older, you'll notice that they're unstructured pretend type play, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, changes. So they'll want to play more structured games. So we've been doing more, my son's 9, his name is Isaac. We've been doing more like Life, the game Life, or he's on Battleship. We play some other games that we have. He loves to do that now. And so the free play still happens. It's just different, right? And he's really good at free play because we did it so much as a child. And I'm going to show you in the next couple of slides how you can do it to make it really successful for them and encourage them to do it. I was a little obsessed with it when Isaac was little. So, because I was all into this play therapy, and he's a really cool kid if you know him. He's not perfect, but we've tried, or at least I did try with this whole piece of the play to make sure he was getting the best I could do. So, which is better? There's really not one or either. It's just both. All right. So how can you encourage the play? All right. This is what I do in my office a lot. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of some tips and strategies of things that you can do at home. So free play. They need a safe place to play, and it needs to be a space that they can call their own. So if you work from home, maybe you have your own office, you have your own space set up. It's very organized for yourself. You have it and you know it's your area. It can be a bedroom if you don't have a lot of space, but if you could make it a different area, even if you're in an apartment. When we first had Isaac, we lived in an apartment, and I created these little like areas for him to have where it was kind of like a classroom. If you think of a classroom having different stations or areas that I had for him that we would play in. So he knew, right? Not cognitively, he wasn't talking yet, but he knew he had that area. So they need a safe place to play. They also need it to be organized. Organization will help them in their free play, because if the things are organized, they are able then to use it quicker. They're able to know what to do. Their brain can connect quicker. So say kitchen, let's talk back about the kitchen and playing cooking or whatever. Having bins is really helpful. So you put all of the cooking stuff in a bin. So you'd put all the food, you put all the plates, that stuff in one bin together. You would say that you have a little boy and they like cars and trucks, or a little girl. Little girls like that too. Have all a bin for the cars and the trucks. Have a bin for building blocks. Have a bin for Legos. It is not ideal to have all of the toys dumped in one thing. That is not going to help them. It doesn't teach them really anything other than they have to dig, right? And it just becomes so chaotic in their brain when they're digging for random stuff and they can't create a little world of their own. Does that make sense? So I know maybe you pick up all the toys and you just dump everything. That's not the best. So you're going to want to make sure you have time to, when you use time to clean up, you put everything back in its right space. And just to talk about cleanup, they can't do it all by themselves. It's going to have to be like you helping them. So a great way to do that would be like, I'll put the cars and trucks away. You put the Paw Patrol stuff away. So you'd have a bin for Paw Patrol. You'd have a bin for cars and trucks. So then you're teaching your kids about organization. So for example, ESAC now, we don't do that as much, but I did teach him from like 2 on that everything is separated. So he is really good at keeping stuff separated now. He knows where the toys go when he has them out. He knows that all the Legos go into space. All of these things go into space, in which then translates to clothes. He knows he has a sock drawer. He has a shirt drawer. He knows that our shirts are short sleeve, long sleeve. Granted, he's not perfect, but I'll say he'll put stuff away and I'll be like, did you do it correctly? And then he'll have to go back sometimes and fix it, but he knows how to do it, right? Because I've taught him since from such a young age. So organization is super, super important when it comes to play and making that space for them where they can then be the best person that they are. It needs to be developmentally appropriate. So this is going to change with age. So an example would be you have your baby, the baby's born. You'll buy like the mats with like the little things that they can play on, or there'll be little toys of like sounds, the little things that they bang on, just all that. So make sure you have like that space and you'd have each little section organized for them. Now they're going to grow. So then you're going to get rid of those things. You don't need to save them. Or if you do want to save them, put them in a box. They need to come out of the play space to the next developmentally appropriate toys. So then that 2 to 3 year old, it's going to be different types of things. Sure, some of it's going to like intertwine, but now maybe they really like trains. So you're going to have a train table. You're going to have all your trains in one box. You're going to have all your track in one box. Or they're starting to play with dolls, right? So maybe you would have the dolls in one box, the clothes in one box, the little accessories in another box. And so as they grow older, you're going to continually clean out and make it developmentally appropriate and organized for them. This is going to encourage them. This is going to help them want to play in an organized way in their brain. And then they can play kitchen and it doesn't take 10 hours to find all the food and they don't get bored. They're able to do that right away. Or they can play cars and they have all their cars that they can line up and they don't have to dig through it. It's all just there in their organized box. So basically what you're doing is you're creating boundaries with freedom, right? You're creating these boundaries for them. They have their playroom. You've set a structure, but then it's free in there for them to do what they want to do. But you've created the space to make it really nice for them and fun and easy. So that's you that having to do that. It's you creating the time to make it, because it isn't easy, because you're going to have to take the time to clean up, to put the things in the right place, to really look at the space you're creating for them that's loving, right? And it's going to bring out the best in them. All right, so this is one of the things I wanted to tell you about with the listening and reflecting. So as a play therapist, if you've been in with me and you've done any sessions with me with kids, you'll hear me listen and reflect, listen and reflect. I don't tell them how to play, like say they're playing, let's go back to the kitchen things. I keep talking about that. We're playing kitchen and they're wanting to cook something. They'll be like, Anastasia, what would you like for dinner? And I'll say back to them, oh, you want to make me something for dinner? Oh, that sounds great. What would you like to make for me? And let them kind of figure it out. Sometimes I'll put my opinion in, but a lot of the time I let them lead, right? Or they'll have all the trucks out and I'll be like, oh, wow, you've lined up all of those trucks. So you can find out what you're doing. I wonder what's going to happen next. And I just watch. And then they'll say some things maybe, and then I'll reflect what they're saying. I'll reflect back. I don't put my opinion in, depending on the age of the kid or like what's really happening. I let them lead the entire session and they will do all of it on their own. And if you have questions about that or want to learn more about that, I can definitely get more in detail. So you're going to want to let them lead the play. Just sit there with them and be present. Don't have the phone with you. It's all about being present with them, right? And letting them know you're there. Even though you're not sharing anything, you're just there with them, really focused and being present with them. And that is how you can encourage play. All right, so what's happening? All right, parent coaching. So I want to share again that, yes, I am moving into this parent coaching field because it's something I'm very passionate about and helping people and help them in their homes. And I can teach you some of the things that I've learned over the years. I can help you create structure in your home. I can help you understand your child and know how to help them. And maybe it's not going to be just through me. It's going to be finding a therapist or finding someone that can help you if they have other issues going on. maybe it's speech, language, or we would help you and figure out what they need in school. I can help you create a plan for that. And also give you the confidence that you need to guide your child as they go through childhood. So reach out to me. I would love to help and teach you some of the things I've learned over the years. All right. So yeah, well, I'm glad you got to be here today. And please let me know if you have any questions. I will put in the comments, probably not today, I don't know, sometime, I will make a freebie of the great types of toys to have in a playroom that will help you bring out the it'll help encourage the kind of play that you want for your child. I will create a freebie, so it'll give you a list of toys of what kind of things that are really helpful and fun to have at each developmental level. So be looking for that. And yeah, I guess that's it. So if you're watching this on a replay, you can always still ask me questions, especially if you get that toy list, let me know. And yeah, I guess that's it. Have a great day. Bye.